Hello everybody, my name is Robbie. I'm a teacher at Erin School of English. Welcome to the first of a series of online classes. Now in this class we are going to look at the different types of nouns in English. Now of course a noun is a naming word. It can be a place, a thing, a person, any object. So we're going to look at countable nouns. We're also going to look at uncountable nouns, and we're going to do a little bit of practice together. So let's go. First, we've got countable nouns. So have a look. What do you see? This object is an apple. What about now? 2 apples. So apple, of course, is an example of a countable noun. Most nouns in the English language are countable. And what this means, we can count them using numbers. For example, 2 apples, 3 apples, etc. They have a singular and a plural form. An apple, singular, 2 apples, plural. To talk about the singular form, we can use a or an. If we want to use the plural form, we just add an s to the end of the word. However, some countable nouns are irregular. So let's have a look at some more examples. So here we can see a book, 2 books, very simple. We just add an s for the plural form. 1 dog, 2 dogs. An umbrella, 2 umbrellas. 1 man, 2 men. Now here we can see this noun is irregular. We do not add an s, and we actually change the word to talk about the plural form. 1 man, 2 men. A woman, 2 women. 1 person, 2 people. A child, 2 children. So we need to be very careful here. We don't make the mistake a lot of non-native speakers make here and say 2 men's or 3 children's. A child, singular form, 2 children, 3 children, plural form. No s here with these irregular countable nouns. Some more examples. I live in an apartment. Now of course we use an instead of a when the first sound of the noun is a vowel sound. Apartment, an apartment. She owns 2 cats. Regular countable noun, we just add an s for the plural form. And have a look here. How many friends do you have? So when we look at countable nouns in the plural form, we always use how many friends, not how much friends. So how many friends, how many books, how many people, how many children, etc. Okay, what do you guys see here? The weather is fantastic and the scenery is beautiful. Now the nouns in this sentence, weather and scenery, but these nouns, they're not countable, are they? We can't say our weather is fantastic or the sceneries is beautiful. It's not grammatically correct. And the reason is because these nouns are uncountable. And uncountable nouns, they have some specific rules we must follow. Uncountable nouns do not have plural forms. They're not used in the plural. They also cannot be used with a or an. And they always need a singular verb. So for example, the weather is fantastic. Never the weather are fantastic or the scenery are beautiful. It must be the scenery is beautiful. Now it can be a challenge to actually identify which nouns in English are uncountable. So I'm going to show you guys a list of some of the most commonly used uncountable nouns, and later in this video I'm going to provide you with a link so you can have a look at a more comprehensive list of uncountable nouns. So some of the most common uncountable nouns: behavior, traffic, weather, accommodation, health, progress, scenery, rubbish, work, and politics. Also, a useful thing to remember: most words, most nouns ending with the letters ICS, for example, athletics, economics, are usually uncountable nouns in English too. So just be really careful here with these words, because I know in many other foreign languages, a lot of these nouns are countable. In English, they are always uncountable. Alright, what do you see here? So this, of course, is luggage. However, we know luggage is an example of an uncountable noun. If we want to talk about an individual uncountable noun, we can use a phrase like a piece of luggage. For example, I left a piece of luggage in the taxi. Now the listener knows it's one piece of luggage, not lots of different pieces of luggage. So some more examples of uncountable nouns: furniture, information, advice, homework, research, look, bread, toast, luggage, and equipment. And with all of these uncountable nouns, if we want to talk about an individual, we just use this phrase, a piece of. So for example, I bought a new piece of furniture for my home. Now the listener knows it's one piece of furniture. Would you like one piece of toast for breakfast or two pieces of toast for breakfast? So here, even though the noun toast is uncountable, I can quantify it using this phrase, a piece of. One piece of toast, two pieces of toast, three pieces, etc. And I can do this with all of these uncountable nouns. Okay, have a look here. What do you see? So it's a home, a house. What is it made out of? What material? It's not stone, it's glass. So his new house is made mainly of glass. So now we've got another example of an uncountable noun here, glass. We're talking about the material. The house is made of glass. The window is made of glass. There is broken glass on the floor, be careful. An uncountable noun. However, here you can see a glass. Can I have a glass of water, please? So we've got the same word, glass, but a slightly different meaning. So some nouns in English can be countable and uncountable, but the meaning changes. So example, glass, the material used to make windows. When we talk about the material, it's uncountable. However, a glass, this is the thing you drink out of. This is countable. There are 3 glasses on the table. Some other examples of these nouns: business. So for example, she runs a very successful business. Here it's countable. However, if we want to talk about 2 people buying and selling or doing deals, we say they did business together. In this context, business is uncountable. We could not say they did a business together. So the same word, different meanings, and it can be countable or uncountable based on that meaning. Paper, another example. So we've got the material, paper, uncountable. However, if we're talking in the context of university, your professor might give you a paper to complete for the exam at the end of the course. In this context, it is countable. Light also, okay? So light, this word, it can be countable if we're talking about, for example, there are 2 lights on the ceiling. So in this case, it is countable. In other circumstances, the word light would be uncountable. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys a little break from listening to me because I've got some practice exercises for you to try and complete. So here we can see we've got 8 sentences. Each sentence has a highlighted part or parts. Your job, have a look at each sentence, focus on the highlighted parts of the sentences, and try to decide if it is grammatically correct or incorrect based on what we've talked about so far in this class and some of the examples we've looked at. I'll give you a couple of minutes to complete the exercise and then we'll correct it together. Okay, let's correct together. So number 1, the homeworks the teacher gave us were very difficult. What do you guys think? Does this sound correct? So of course, number 1 is incorrect, and the reason is homework is an uncountable noun, which means there is no plural form. So it should be the homework the teacher gave us. Now you may remember, when we use an uncountable noun, we also must use a singular verb. Were is the plural verb. So if we want to talk about the singular, the homework the teacher gave us was very difficult. Now the sentence is grammatically correct. Number 2, her children are all studying at university. So children, can you guys remember what type of noun this is? It's a countable noun, but it's irregular. So 1 child, 2 children. So her children are all studying at university. This sentence is grammatically correct. Children is in the plural form, therefore we also use the plural verb. Her children are. Number 3, I needed to do a research for my project. Now you may remember research is an uncountable noun, which means we cannot use it with a or an. Therefore, to make the meaning, so here we're not talking about the material, glass. We're talking about the object you drink from. And in this context, glass is countable. Therefore, this sentence is correct. Number 5, the students have been making good progress with their English. Now, progress, it's another example of an uncountable noun. Therefore, we cannot use a or an. As a result, this sentence is correct. If we said the students have been making a good progress, it is grammatically incorrect. Number 6, I left a luggage in the airport. So you might remember luggage is also an uncountable noun, but if we want to talk about an individual or luggage in the singular form, we can use the phrase a piece of luggage. So as this sentence is written now, it's grammatically incorrect. But if we change it to I left a piece of luggage in the airport, it's correct. Number 7, I saw 3 people wearing a similar coat yesterday. So people, what kind of noun is this? Is it countable or uncountable? People is a countable noun, but it's the plural form. It's also irregular. So 1 person, 2 people, 3 people. However, it's still countable, which means this sentence is grammatically correct. I saw 3 people. Just be careful and try not to make a mistake many non-native speakers make by saying I saw 3 peoples. Okay, we do not add an S here. Number 8, a really bad traffic this morning. A really bad traffic. So traffic, it's another example of an uncountable noun. As a result, we cannot use a or an here. Therefore, to make this correct, we would need to say there was really bad traffic this morning. So we omit the article a in this case. Okay, all right, cool. Well, before we move on to the next part of our video, just a few important points for you guys to remember. So, most nouns in English are countable. If we want to make them plural, we just add an S. We can also use a or an to talk about an individual. Some countable nouns are irregular, so just be careful with these nouns. So remember, person, people, child, children, man, men, woman, women. Uncountable nouns don't have a plural. They also cannot be used with a or an, and they always take a singular verb. And finally, some nouns can be countable and uncountable, but the meaning changes. So we just looked at the example of glass. A glass, the object you drink from, countable. 1 glass, 2 glasses, 3 glasses. Glass, the material, what we use to make windows, uncountable. So the house was made mainly of glass. Alright, so just a few other very useful online resources I found for you guys if you want to do a little bit more work on this in your own time. So if you're looking for a more comprehensive list of common uncountable nouns in English, this link here has an excellent list and many more examples of uncountable nouns. Also, if you want to challenge yourself a little bit more and you're looking to do some more practice exercises in your own time, you can find them at these 2. collective nouns. And once again, we will then do a little bit of practice at the end. So, have a look here. What do you see? So we have a boy. You can see his clothes are a little bit dirty. Right, so his clothes are dirty. So the noun in this sentence is the word. So for example, we can't remove the S from the word clothes. It just doesn't exist. The only form this word exists in is the plural form. The same with manners, outskirts, scissors, belongings, etc. So plural nouns need a plural verb, and they also cannot be used with a or an. We can't say a clothes, for example. We also couldn't say the scissors is small. It must be the scissors are small. So plural noun, plural verb. Some examples. I need to buy a pair of trousers. A pair of trousers. Now what we've done here is, because trousers consists of two parts, we can use the phrase a pair of to quantify. In much the same way that we looked at earlier in the video, we can use a piece of with uncountable nouns, a pair of with plural nouns if they have two parts. So for example, trousers, shorts, scissors, all of these objects have two parts. Therefore we can say a pair of trousers, two pairs of trousers. We can also use the word some. So some more examples. Nowadays, young people don't have very good manners. So manners, plural noun, no singular form. Can you pass me a pair of scissors, please? So here I've used the phrase a pair of to show that I'm talking about an individual item. And just remember, scissors, it has two parts, so we can use this phrase a pair of with it. I need to buy some warm clothes before I go to Russia. Okay, clothes, plural noun, no singular form, but I can use some, as long as I don't say warm clothes. Alright, so here you can see an airplane and the people who work on the airplane. So what do we call the people who work on a plane or a ship? They're the crew, right? So the crew are very friendly. Crew is an example of a collective noun. And collective nouns refer to a group of people. Not one person, but a group of people. So some more examples. Staff. The staff at Erin School are excellent, for example. A team, grammatically correct. However, just be careful, because the word police is an exception. And police always takes a plural verb. So even though it's referring to a group of people, we must use a plural verb with this noun. So the police in Dublin are helpful. I could never say the police in Dublin is helpful, because this would be grammatically correct. But with the other collective nouns, you can use a singular or a plural verb. So some examples using collective nouns. My favorite team is Manchester United. So team, collective noun, I can use is or are, a singular or a plural verb. His family are very close. So again, family, a group of people. And just add the adjective here, close. We're not talking in terms of physical distance here. We're talking about their relationship. So his family are very close means they have a very good relationship with one another. The staff in that hotel are very helpful. Okay, this time I've used a plural verb. I could also say the staff in that hotel is very helpful. The crew on my flight were really friendly. That class is so well behaved. just be careful here. The police in Dublin are helpful to tourists. I must use a plural verb with police because it's an exception to the rule. Okay, so once again, I've got a little bit of practice for you. So I've got 5 sentences here. Each sentence has a collective or a plural noun in it. Your job is to choose the correct option to make the sentence grammatically correct. So for example, in number 1, I bought a new jeans yesterday, or I bought a pair of new jeans yesterday. I'll give you guys a couple of minutes to complete the exercise, and then we'll correct together. Okay, let's correct together. So number 1, I bought a new jeans yesterday, or I bought a pair of new jeans yesterday. So jeans, it's an example of a plural noun. And you may remember with these nouns, there is no singular form, and we cannot use a or an. However, jeans, it has 2 parts, so I can use the phrase a pair of. So the correct answer here is a pair of new jeans. Number 2, John's clothes. So clothes, another plural noun, we need a plural verb. So John's clothes look really expensive. They look. Plural noun, plural verb. Number 3, good manners are important. So again, manners is a plural noun. We need to use a plural verb. And of course, manners refers to how polite people are, using words like please, thank you, etc. Number 4, do you have a scissors, or do you have some scissors I could borrow? So scissors, plural noun, we cannot use a or an, so we must say do you have some scissors. We could also say a pair of scissors because the object has 2 parts. And finally, number 5, so just be careful here because police is our exception to the rule. So the police are sure that they know who was responsible for the crime. So police is a collective noun. However, even though with most collective nouns we can use a singular or plural verb, with police we must use a plural verb. So the police are is the correct answer here. Okay. Alright, guys, so that is the end of our class on the different types of nouns. So we looked at countable, uncountable, plural, and also collective nouns today. Now I'm sure you probably have lots and lots of questions for me. So if you guys have questions, please submit them onto Bill on Land. I'll have a look through and I'll try to answer as many as possible for you guys. So I'll take a look at your questions, and at the beginning of our next lesson, next week, I'll spend some time answering the questions. Also guys, in our next class, next Wednesday, we're going to have a look at the different future forms in English. So of course in English we don't have a future simple. We've just got many different ways to talk about the future. So I'm going to have a look at some of those different forms. We'll explore the different meanings of them, and we'll do some practice on how to use them correctly. Guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope you found this video helpful. I look forward to looking and answering your questions, and I hope to see you again next week. Have a great day. Cheers.